welcome to At Home Today, part 2 of cookies. We're going to do cookies today, and I have a very special guest who's with us, and her name is Mary Tennant, and she works at a sister station that airs At Home in Clarksburg, West Virginia, and it's WLYJ TV 46. I want to say hello to all the friends and fans out there of At Home. We love Jack Kincaid and his wife and all the precious folks there in Clarksburg. We're really glad that Mary could be with us, and she works at the station, and she's going to be doing some really nice Christmas cookies. But we also have some other guests, and they're in our audience, and they're very special guests. We have the Junior Girl Scout Troop 512 from Trafford, Pennsylvania. We're so glad you're with us today. And Jan Kiefer and Diane Bonafati and Connie Jo Shea, they're all here today, and we're so glad that you're with us. Nice to have you. That's Troop 512 from Trafford, here close by. Well, stay with us now because we'll be right back, and we've got some interesting things for you to learn about cookies today. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Here's today's at-home hint. To soften hard as a rock brown sugar, place a slice of soft bread or half an apple in the package and close tightly. In a couple of hours, the brown sugar will be soft again.
For updates, pictures, stories, and more, like us on Facebook. To watch hundreds of classic episodes, subscribe to us on YouTube. And to get hundreds of free recipes, visit ctvn.org/athome.
Well, we're back, and my special guest is Mary Tennant. Mary, I'm so glad you're here. Give me a hug.
Thank you.
Just make you feel welcome to our kitchen.
It's wonderful to be here.
Well, we're so happy that Jack carries the program, and I know that we get a lot of mail from down in West Virginia. Thanks so much when you send in for the recipes and your kind comments. We appreciate it. And we invited, Jack told me, by way of Stan Scott, who serves on your board there, that Mary Tennant was a really good cookie baker. So we figured we'll call her and get her up here. And you told me you do everything behind the cameras. She's worked all over the place in television, but this is the first time you're in front of the camera.
Yes, it is.
Well, I'm glad you're making your debut in the kitchen. All right, what are you going to make for us first?
The wedding cakes, actually, it has a nickname that my kids have given it. It's called finger cookies.
Finger cookies.
Finger cookies.
Because you make them kind of the size of a finger?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, show us how to get started and tell us what you're doing.
Well, the ingredients are fairly simple, and it takes a cup of soft butter, a half a cup of powdered sugar, 2 cups of flour, and a dash of salt and a teaspoon of vanilla. This you just you put the butter into the, well, actually, let's see, we'll just mix it all together this time. Okay. It goes into you cream the soft butter and the powdered sugar, but we can do it all together.
Yeah, because in this it doesn't really affect the outcome of the cookie.
No, we'll just dump it all together.
All right. And you're putting the vanilla. Can I put the dash?
The dash of salt.
There's the dash.
That's right.
Okay. And this looks like something I'd be having my hands in.
Well, soon.
Soon, yeah.
Soon.
So tell
I'll
me,
have my hands in soon.
Mary, how do you like to bake cookies?
Yeah, I always.
You have 3 children.
Yeah,
right?
I do. They're grown children. My youngest one's 20.
Wow.
And
you don't look like you could have a 20-year-old.
I do. My oldest one will soon be 25. I have a granddaughter.
My goodness, she's all this in grandma, so you really have to know how to do cookies, right?
She's 15 months old. Sydney Bell is her name.
Oh, how nice. Yeah. She's a joy of your life, isn't she?
Yes, she is. She lives here in Harrisburg.
Oh, okay. Pennsylvania girl,
yes, she is. My 2 older kids are from Pennsylvania. I have a son that lives in near Philadelphia.
And he's the one that's the golf pro, right?
Yes, he is.
All right.
Yes.
And then the other son?
No, I have a daughter. She's in Colorado.
Oh.
She's working in Colorado.
Okay.
And planning on going to school out there.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So you have a wonderful family.
Yeah, but cookies was always a special part of Christmas, the holidays.
And even when they grow up, it still is, huh? Because when they come home, they want that special one that you used to make. And you can make all kinds of different ones, but they still want that special one.
Right. Okay, about this point's when you get your fingers in.
Now we get it gooey, huh?
Yes.
All right.
Whoops.
That's all right. And you just work it with your fingers?
Yeah, till you get it in a nice dough.
You kind of have to get in there, don't you?
Yeah.
Really.
Now this, you don't have to grease your cookie sheet.
Because of the
I
butter
guess
that's in
because
there,
of so
huh?
much butter in it.
And these are called, these would be great for weddings, because they're called wedding cakes.
Right.
But holidays or whatever.
Right. It's a real simple cookie. It's just a butter sugar cookie. It's been one of my kids' favorites for
Now,
a long time.
My mother-in-law used to make something like this, and she called them, she added walnuts to hers, I think.
Right.
And she called them snowballs.
Yeah.
And then I saw a recipe not long ago, and they call them crescents.
Well, I think that people call them Mexican tea cakes.
Tea cakes,
and
right.
They put pecans in them.
But these are, when you put them in your mouth, they're gone. They just melt in your mouth because they're so tender.
At
Now,
about this point,
okay,
you just take
about a teaspoon?
maybe, is that about a teaspoon?
Yeah, a little bit rounded maybe. And don't
It
butter
depends.
the...
No, you don't butter the cookie sheet.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
This is just about
That's
like
the way
that.
they do look like fingers.
Yes, they do.
My goodness. Your kids are bright there, that's right.
They're easy to just pop in your mouth. Milk and cookies.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Now, Mary, tell me, what's your position there at the station now?
The title, I guess, is Partner Relations Coordinator, but actually I'm in charge of contributions when they're made. I post them and make sure that people
Receipt
get
and
their
everything like
receipts.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's
Very good.
basically about what I do.
All right. Can I continue to work on these and have you start another cookie? Because
Sure
we're,
can.
you know, holidays, we're always trying to show you a lot of recipes. And I'll go ahead and roll these. Now, how long do they bake? Tell me that.
This takes about 8 to 10 minutes. It doesn't take too
Okay.
many, and it doesn't make a whole lot. It makes about 3 dozen cookies is all that it takes.
At 375 degrees. You want to remember that.
Yes.
Okay, now while I'm going to roll these, you're going to make something else, and they're called raspberry
Ripples.
Ripples.
That's
okay.
a real simple recipe.
And tell us how to put the dough together, because
Okay,
you know,
I'll have
that's
to get
real.
my recipe here.
All right.
I already have the dough already made, but I can walk you through the recipe
Okay.
here. It takes a cup of the soft butter, and you mix that, you cream that with a half a cup of confectioner's sugar, and you
Okay.
take an egg yolk, you separate the egg, and you put the egg yolk in the dough, and you reserve the egg white.
White, okay.
And then after that, it's nice and fluffy, you add the flour and the salt, which of course is your dry ingredients, and you mix that
Mix it
basically
together.
like you did this.
Similar,
it turns,
okay.
Yeah, it turns into just a basic dough. You have to get your fingers in it.
Oh, that's the kind of.
And it ends up looking like this.
Oh, that's a
The
nice.
dough ends up looking like
Now we
this.
will be sure that you have the entire recipe.
Okay, this is the fun part. You divide this into 3 parts,
Okay.
and it's probably better to try and make them as even as possible.
And you kind of have to feel that, don't
Right,
you?
yes,
I mean,
you do.
It's the only way you can do it, really.
I guess maybe I like,
Things you can do with your hands.
Yeah.
I can tell you like to get your fingers in.
Yes.
Now, I have to tell you, this is very easy dough. This is to work with.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. When you started to work on it, I thought, ew, this looks like it's going to be real dry, but it's not.
No.
It's not. Now, what are we doing over here?
okay, you form these into,
Let me move this out of the way.
you shape them into like about 12 inches long, I'd say about an inch, inch and a half wide.
Okay.
Strips, and you get 3 of them per recipe.
Okay. You put all 3 on the same pan.
Right.
The same pan.
Right.
So you're not covering the whole pan or anything like that with it, right? You're just
Nope.
making them.
And you don't
12.
really want to get it too thin, because once you make an indentation down the center of each strip, and you don't want to make it too thin because when you put the
Filling?
raspberry jelly in it, sometimes they'll break apart.
Oh, okay.
So you make the indentation down the center of it.
Nice to have the Girl Scouts with us today, huh? From
Yes, it
512.
is.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
All right.
Just a fun age.
Just a fun age, yeah. And potential cookie bakers
There
over
you
there.
go.
You know, I'm sure that they're going to help their parents, their mom, their dad, whoever does the baking, grandma, whoever. It's great to have. Isn't that what holidays are all about?
Family.
Did your kids get involved in the kitchen when
Oh,
they were
yeah.
Oh, I mean, that was the
Yeah,
thing
they
you looked
do.
forward to.
We, I think one of the most fun times is the cutout cookies.
Oh, yeah.
You
Icing
do that
those?
when they're real young.
Oh, yeah.
Just the butter cookies and the cookie cutters, and they have more fun.
There's just
the
something
cookie
about
cutters.
smelling that.
Yeah.
It just
Well,
says holiday,
actually,
doesn't it?
This morning, before I came up here, I was in the kitchen, and of course I had to get myself ready for Christmas. So I was playing Christmas carols.
Sure.
And baking cookies, and it just smelled like Christmas.
Christmas,
at my
yeah.
house.
It's like, all right, where's the tree?
Right.
You know? I mean, just put you in gear for it.
I was ready to put the tree up.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't take much. Okay.
As you can see, I've made an indentation down the center.
Okay, like a little trough or ditch or whatever you want to call it.
Yes, and that's where you put the preserves.
Okay.
You can, and I have raspberry reserves is what our favorite is, but you can use
whatever.
You can use strawberry. You could probably use peach.
Oh.
You could use apricots.
Oh, nice.
Any of it would be good.
There's something about apricots at Christmas time
Yes.
that I like.
I like the red because of
that's
the
true.
Christmas. Okay, now with the egg yolk that you put in the dough and you reserve the egg white, I'm going to take this fork here.
Sure.
You just slightly beat the egg white, and you take a pastry brush and you brush the dough. And I think the main reason, I've done this and forgot to put this on, and it doesn't change any taste or
still
anything.
works, huh?
All this does,
Maybe
I think,
holds
just
the
keeps the cookies from crumbing.
crumbling. Okay.
Is all that it does. And I just put it on the outside edges of the
Wonderful.
dough, like this. And it kind of makes it a little golden brown, I think. And when you sprinkle the nuts on, the nuts stick to the egg white a lot better, and you don't get near as many crumbs that way.
Okay. Well, my fingers are coming along. Some of them aren't as nice as yours. They're a little deformed, but, you know, maybe they're, I don't know what they are. But this is very easy to work with, I have to tell you. This is just
that's a real easy recipe.
nice dough. And you can make it any shape you wanted, really, couldn't you? I mean, if you wanted to, you could make them all different shapes. They could be round or crescents or...
You could. That's just been a...
It's just been fingers for your kids. So.
They just kind of got that nickname.
Right.
And
Okay, now you're spooning.
The preserves right down the center.
All right.
Of each one of these.
And I'm working the fingers, and everything's coming along. And that's what it's all about. Lots of people in the kitchen during the holidays getting it ready. Mom used to sit at the table. I'd bake the cookies. I'd prepare the icing, and I'd say, okay, Mom, you icing. And I'd take them off as they would cool. She would ice them. We'd pack them away. You know, get together with some of your friends. These recipes, that's what it's all about, isn't it, Mary?
Right, it is.
Just getting together with a girlfriend.
Having fun.
You know, just having fun, put the Christmas carols on, like you said. What better time could you have, really?
As you can see, I'm using the chopped nuts. You sprinkle that across the top of the dough.
Very good.
That's a pretty cookie.
It is. It's beautiful.
Very pretty cookie.
And then you bake them for how long?
Well, let's see, 20 minutes.
Okay.
Baking time at 350. You bake them for about 20 minutes, and you let them completely cool before you cut them.
Then you cut them on a slant,
on a diagonal, and I found a real secret to it is using a pizza cutter.
That was one of our hints today, wasn't it? Okay.
You have no crumbs that way.
Right.
The knife sometimes makes crumbs.
Cut straight through.
The pizza cutter makes it a whole lot easier.
All right, well, I'm finishing the fingers, and she's finishing the raspberry ripples. We're going to ask you to take a look at these important messages. We'll be right back with more. Stay tuned now.
If you love At Home with Arlene Williams, then subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have hundreds of episodes with all your favorite recipes, holidays, and friends.
Say hi to your fan club. Hi, fan club.
And don't forget to click the bell so you'll never miss another episode of At Home.
Well, we're back with my very special guest, Mary Tennant from Clarksburg, West Virginia. And she's already talked us through and showed us 2 cookie recipes. And here is the third one. And this is one that is the most popular cookie.
Right.
And everybody's intimidated by it, thinks it's too hard to make. I just can't make it. Clothespin cookies are little mini ladylocks.
I think they're just more time consuming than they are difficult.
They are. They are.
They just take a lot of time.
We had a guest on who showed us, and he had the metal rods, which everybody had a hard time finding them. They're hard to find. Show us what you've used.
Okay, my original recipe, of course, is called the clothespin cookie. And the reason I think that it's called clothespin cookie is because you foil wrap a clothespin. Well, I had a difficult time finding the clothespin, the round, old-fashioned clothespin. So my husband, I bought dowel rods.
This is what I use.
And my husband, of course, cut them in about the same length.
They're about, what, 3 feet long, 2 feet long, whatever. And then you just, about, what, 3 inches?
That's about 3 inches.
About 3 inches, just cut them, wrap them with foil, it works perfect.
It's exactly the same thing. I think the only reason that they use the clothespin and foil covered them is the diameter.
Right.
It's
to
about the
achieve that right
diameter.
size.
Right.
But really, this is a whole lot cheaper than those rods, and you can do a whole lot more at one time. You can see how many you can put on a tray.
I have about 24 here. I can get maybe 2 dozen cookies on a tray at a
sure.
time.
Okay, now tell us what's in this dough, because this is really important. And again, you're going to get all of this information when you write for the booklet, but talk us through the dough.
Okay, I've had several recipes for the dough, but I think this is probably my
best.
favorite. I think because it takes the sour cream is the secret. It's a real flaky dough. It ends up being real flaky. Okay, the ingredients is 4 cups of flour, a pound of butter, a tablespoon of sugar, 4 egg yolks, and an 8-ounce container of sour cream.
My heart just had a cardiac
Yes. Okay.
But this is, you only do this occasionally. You don't
Right.
eat this stuff all the time.
That's
This is
right.
holidays.
Okay, you start with the flour, and I cut the flour or the butter into the flour like you would a pie.
And you don't use margarine.
No,
You
I
use butter, because that's the
only
flavor.
butter.
That's right.
That's where your flavor comes from. Okay, of course you can put your sugar in with the dry ingredients,
only
the
a
flour.
tablespoon,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, and then you take the 4 egg yolks and you put it into the sour cream and mix that around.
Together.
Right. And then you put that into the flour
Mix it.
mixture, and that's all there is to it.
Wow.
You have to chill this overnight. I'm not exactly sure what the chilling does, but
It kind of sets everything together.
marinates it.
Yeah, or what?
I'm not sure what it does.
Marinating your
Yes,
little
cookie
mini.
dough. Right.
Why not?
Yes.
Okay, so show
It
us what
ends
to
up-
do now.
Okay,
And this is a very workable dough,
Yeah, it
isn't
is.
it?
It is. Okay, it
Okay.
ends up looking like this after you've done all this.
But this is only half of it, because she's
Right.
baked off some of them for us so we could see the finished product. Okay.
And I've kept the dough in the fridge for, I don't know, a few days.
It works?
Know? Yeah.
Good.
Like, because I work, I'll
Don't
do
have
a
time,
few a
sure.
day, and then the next day I'll do a few more.
And you know, that's a good idea when
It
you're working and you're trying to get your holiday baking done. Do what you can. If you can't do the whole thing all at one time, then just work at what you can do. If you can do
Right.
5 or 6 dozen or 3 or 4 dozen or whatever, and you can't do the rest of it, refrigerate it and go back to it, right?
This is kind of a sticky dough. And
I see that.
actually, the recipe tells you to kind of knead the dough in the flour
To pick it up so
Right.
that...
Yeah.
All right.
before you roll it.
Now, can we talk about the filling while you're working on that?
Sure can.
That has some flour.
Right, 5 tablespoons of flour and
Mm-hmm.
a cup of water. And you use the wire whisk. You cook that on the stove and make
To
a
make it
paste.
thick, okay?
You make a paste. Now, I've had
Try-
other recipes that takes milk, but this one seems to...
Works better, okay.
Well, and that way you don't have to refrigerate the cookies.
That's
Anything
exactly
that takes
right.
milk, it had to be refrigerated. Where
because it
this
will
one,
sour.
Right, this one
Okay.
you can just store. Okay,
That's quite a lot of flour on there, isn't it?
Yeah, it
But
is.
But you need that to
Yeah.
do these, so... I
well,
like
the
doughs that
flour,
have
as you
sour
bake
cream.
it, yeah, I do too. As you bake it, I think the flour
Absorbs
bakes
some
into
of that
it.
butter,
Yeah.
huh? All right, now, after you make the paste, then you take a cup of sugar and a cup of Crisco.
Right,
It-
and you beat that.
A long time, huh? Until it's really
yes.
incorporated.
And then you put your cooled paste. You have to let the cool.
Yeah, completely let it cool.
Right.
Please, folks, don't put it in when it's warm, because that stuff will melt right down on you. We've
Okay.
had people writing to us and saying, oh, that didn't work.
It failed.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Okay.
this is
Now tell me it's kind of an oblong.
Yeah.
What, about 8 or 10 inches?
this. You just kind of have to feel it out, and I like it fairly thin. You can
I
see
do
I
too.
don't like it
I don't like
real
them thick either.
I don't think they bake all the way through. Sometimes you get it kind of thick in the center, but you
Okay.
just kind of have to work your way.
All right.
And then you just start cutting them.
Okay.
In about inch wide strips.
Oh, inch wide? Okay. That shows how you do
And
the
you
whole
can-
thing, huh?
Right. Well, I'll start off with like 2 strips.
Okay.
And then maybe I'll.
Oh, you cut them in half. So
Yes.
each one of those, each half
Right.
of those is a cookie.
Yeah. Well,
gotcha.
you make it maybe 3 or 4 or 5 inches. It depends on how many,
Okay,
how
now show them
long,
how to do it here.
how long you want these.
Or how big.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you just roll them overlapping?
Overlapping, just like
Ah.
that. And I usually make it till I get like where I can see 3.
3 ripples like
Right,
you have on all
yeah.
of these.
And that way you get about a uniform size.
Sure.
And that's basically all there
On a
is to it.
buttered or non-buttered? It's not, I don't think.
I don't
is
think
it?
it's a buttered. It's an ungreased cookie sheet.
Yeah,
I guess
because there's
of
so
all
much
the
butter in it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, keep showing them how to do that.
Okay. That's just basically all there is to
And
it.
how about let's fill some that you have baked here so that they can see how wonderful this dressing is.
Well,
And-
the one thing about this you must understand, when you take these out of the oven, that's the hardest part, is taking them off of the rods
Yeah, while it's
they're
hot.
hot.
Because if they cool,
Yeah.
what happens?
Well, they stick
break
to
apart,
the, yeah,
too.
and then they break apart. The I use tongs. I get the hold of the end
Oh,
of it
yeah.
with tongs,
And slip
then
them off.
slips them off that way. Yeah.
Okay, do you want to fill
Okay,
some
these
of
have
this?
already been baked.
I'm going to check these cookies while you're doing
Okay.
it. Oh,
And of
they're
course,
looking
taken
good.
off of the
Not
rods.
quite. Okay.
And this is the filling that we've we've already made.
That we talked about.
Okay. And I just use a pastry bag. And I just begin to fill these.
And you have to fill them up, right?
Right. And I go from one end to the other because I don't
think it's easier
right.
to.
You can see down into the other end.
Do you know they have a tip for this? It's real long and pointed, about that long. They work neat for this.
Yeah.
Because it gets down and you just do it all in one shot. But look how nice that is.
Yeah.
And when you
Really
serve
simple.
these, do you dust them with powdered sugar? I've seen them both.
Yes.
I think they look nicer too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them, people trying to fill them with, boy, that's nice cream because it doesn't have to be refrigerated.
That's why I like
the
that
plus.
recipe.
Oh, sure.
With making it with water as opposed to making it with
Mary, these are
milk.
beautiful, and everybody
There you go.
loves these.
This is a hit. This is one that always gets made at weddings and
Christmas.
Right.
And, oh, yeah.
Any kind of a special occasion, you get called.
Sure.
Make your clothespin cookies.
Yeah, get the clothespins ready.
That's right.
Don't do the laundry this week. We'll
That's
do that
right.
next week. We're making cookies.
That's right.
This is great. These are beautiful. Yeah. And how many cookies does this make, this recipe? Do you
This
have an
recipe
idea?
makes quite a few. I would say this one I have about approximately 7 to 8 dozen.
Yeah,
of
because that's
these.
a lot, especially when you're cutting these in half.
Thin
Right.
this is.
Wonderful. Thanks, Mary. We'll be right back in just a minute for our wrap up. Stay tuned. Here's how you can get today's recipes.
To get all the recipes from today's show, plus hundreds of others, just click the link in the video description or visit our website, ctvn.org/at-home.
Well, we're back here at the table, and Mary, tell us, I mean, this is just a lovely table, isn't it?
Looks beautiful.
And you could do something like this if you're entertaining, because you don't always have to put a big spread on, but a nice fresh brewed coffee and some lovely cookies like Mary's prepared today. Tell us what they are again now.
Well, this is the raspberry ripples.
Raspberry
and
ripples.
The clothespin cookies, or the cream horns. We call them mini cream horns.
Or ladylocks.
Or
we call them here.
ladylocks. And these are just the wedding cakes. Or finger cookies. We call them finger cookies.
I
yes.
know.
Because they're in the shapes of different shapes of
Sure.
fingers, right?
And it's nice too, because you were making a comment to me before that this is nice because of the shape.
Right.
Hardly any other cookies are that shape,
They're
but they're
not
kind
typically
of
round.
right, and they're nice
Right.
to put on a platter that you're putting together, maybe for the neighbor next door, maybe for that lady that lives by herself and used to do a lot of baking, and now there's no one there to bake for, so she's kind of out of the loop. How about giving her a nice box? Do these freeze well?
These I know for sure do freeze well. Those I'm not sure, and these freeze well.
Okay, and you would put them in an airtight container?
Right.
And you would want to put paper between the layers. I like to do that because then when they start to thaw, they don't all kind of melt into one another. Thank you so much for being here.
Wonderful being here.
We have enjoyed it very much, and we always enjoy it when you're here, so be sure to join us the next time, because it just wouldn't be the same without you here at home. We'll see you then.
Don't forget to click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode of At Home. Thank you for watching.
Fresh produce provided by Jordan Banana, wholesalers of fresh fruit and vegetables in Dravosburg, Pennsylvania. Appliances provided by Decor Distinctive Appliances, a reflection of your good taste. Groceries provided by Foodland, where the answer is always yes. Cornerstone Television wishes to thank all our faithful viewers whose consistent prayers and financial support have made this program possible.